Let me share something very, very important. If you're involved in network marketing, it's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows. It's not all going to be great days. It's not all going to be success. It's not all going to be win, win, win. There's going to be some tough times. There's going to be some challenging times. This business, like any entrepreneurial business, can be lonely. It can be emotional. There can be big swings up and down. But here's what I've got to tell you. Through all of those ups and downs, it's worth it. Network marketing is not perfect. It has its challenges. But if you have an entrepreneurial bone in your body, it's better. If there's any secret sauce, most people don't believe me. I look them right in the eye. I've been doing this 30 years. I look them right in the eye and I tell them the secret. And they go, yeah, really cool, interesting. Now, anything, they start talking about other stuff. I'm like, I just told you. I just told you where you make all your money. If you did nothing else, if you only had one skill that you could do in order to be able to make money, that skill that I would have you develop is dragging people to events, getting more people to attend events. That starts with setting a goal, and really an aggressive goal. Something outrageous, more than your upline is even thinking. Get aggressive. Getting people started effectively. Getting them started effectively. This is where duplication lives. Is helping them in the first 90 days. Really the first 30 days. But getting them started effectively. You want to get duplication? Focus your time on this little black hole in our profession, which is after they join and up to the point where they either are in or out. And it's that gap where duplication lives. And if you can close that gap, you win. So there's a concept that I like to use that I call over the line. If you can imagine that there's a line down the middle of the stage. And on one side of the line, it's easy for somebody to quit. And on another side of the line, it's easy for somebody to stay and work. Our job, they all start here. Our job is to push them over the line and hold them over the line long enough until they make the decision to stay there on their own. So if you think about what are some of the things that would get a person over the line? If they have a good product experience, is that going to get them over the line? Yes or no? Yes. If they don't use the product, is that going to move them over the line? No, it's going to keep them right here. So getting them to use the product and service is going to move them over here. Now, if they never meet anybody, they don't make any friends inside of your network marketing company, they're all out on their own, which are they going to be? Is it going to be easier to quit or easier to stay? Work with me. Quit. So what is our job then? Introduce them to as many cool people as we can, as fast as we can. Introduce them to people. Go to lunch. Make friends. Connect people. Friend them up on social media. Whatever you have to do in order for that person to feel a part of the team, a part of the family. That's going to move them over the line. If they recruit somebody, does that move them over the line? Yes. If that person quits, what happens? They go right back over here, right? Then they recruit another person, they move over here, they're excited, then that person doesn't do anything, they move back over here. It's our job to lean on them in every way possible to create an invisible barrier right here that has them live on this side for as long as possible until it becomes natural for them. That's our job as leaders. So I'll give you just some quick checklists. If they proclaim themselves, if they tell the world that they're going to go to the top in this company, that moves them over this line. If they get a check of any size, that moves them over this line. If they recruit somebody, if they get a customer, that moves them over this line. If they get some positive feedback, it moves them over this line. If they attend a company convention, my gosh, it moves them way over this line. They see a big picture. They make some friends, moves them over the line. Great product experience, moves them over the line. Hear other product stories, moves them over the line. hear cool stuff about the company, moves them over the line. You get it? That's our job. I want you to think about this. When a person joins, they're naturally here. And our job is just to lean and create this invisible barrier of cool experiences and stuff to create an emotional comfort zone here. And once that comfort zone is achieved, now you've got somebody, you've extended their life. The longer you keep them over here, you extend their long-term career in this network marketing profession. It's the greatest gift you can give a person is to help them move over here. So think about this in terms of get them over the line and keeping them over the line.
A successful businessman was growing old and knew it was time to choose a successor to take over the business. Instead of choosing one of his directors or his children, he decided to do something different. He called all the young executives in his company together. He said, "It is time for me to step down and choose the next CEO. I have decided to choose one of you." The young executives were shocked. But the boss continued, "I am going to give each one of you a seed today. One very special seed. I want you to plant the seed, water it, and come back here 1 year from today with what you have grown from the seed I have given you. I will then judge the plants that you bring, and the one I choose will be the next CEO." One man, named Jim, was there that day, and he, like the others, received a seed. He went home and told his wife the story. She helped him get a pot, soil and compost, and he planted the seed. Every day, he would water it and watch to see if it had grown. After about 3 weeks, some of the other executives began to talk about their seeds and the plants that were beginning to grow. Jim kept checking his seed, but nothing ever grew. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks went by, still nothing. By now, others were talking about their plants. But Jim didn't have a plant, and he felt like a failure. 6 months went by, still nothing in Jim's pot. He just knew he must have killed his seed, but he didn't say anything to his colleagues. He just kept watering and fertilizing the soil. The year finally went by, and all the young executives of the company brought their plans to the CEO for inspection. Jim told his wife that he wasn't going to take an empty pot. But she encouraged him to be honest about what happened. Jim felt sick in his stomach. It was going to be the most embarrassing moment of his life, but he knew his wife was right. He took his empty pot to the boardroom. When he arrived, he was amazed at the variety of plants grown by the other executives. Jim held his empty pot, and many of his colleagues laughed at him. When the CEO arrived, he surveyed the room and greeted his young executives. Jim just tried to hide at the back. "My, what great plants, trees, and flowers you have grown," said the CEO. "Today one of you will be appointed the next CEO." Then he spotted Jim at the back of the room with his empty pot. He ordered the financial director to bring him to the front. Jim was terrified. He thought, "Now he knows I'm a failure. Maybe I'll be fired." When he got to the front, the CEO asked him what had happened to his seed. Jim told him the story. The CEO asked everyone to sit down except Jim. Then he announced, "Behold your next chief executive. His name is Jim." Jim couldn't believe it. Jim couldn't even grow his seed. How could he be the new CEO? The others said. Then the CEO said, "1 year ago today, I gave everyone in this room a seed. I told you to take the seed, plant it, water it, and bring it back to me today. But I gave you all boiled seeds, they were dead, it was not possible for them to grow. All of you, except Jim, have brought me trees and plants and flowers. When you found that the seed would not grow, you substituted another seed for the one I gave you. Jim was the only one with the courage and honesty to bring me a pot with my seed in it. So, he is the one who will be the new CEO. If you plant honesty, you will reap trust. If you plant goodness, you will reap friends. If you plant humility, you will reap greatness. If you plant perseverance, you will reap contentment. If you plant consideration, you will reap perspective. If you plant hard work, you will reap success. If you plant forgiveness, you will reap reconciliation. If you plant faith, you will reap a harvest. Always be careful what you plant now because it will determine what you will reap later.
If you come to me now and tell me you cannot succeed, I know there's something wrong with your brain. There is no excuse you will tell me. You don't have a father, neither do I. My father died when I was 7. My own died too. My mother sold pekere. My mother sold granite. My mother sold fufu. You live there. My mother chased me out of the house. My mother, what do you want to tell me? I went to Unical. I came out with a 3rd class. I didn't even see class for too long. Extra year. And I don't even have NYC. I don't know what the certificate looks like on my name. So I don't have any document. Okay, you live with your uncle. No, I started taking care of pigs. That was my first job. From pigs to security in a church and I was in somebody's house. But until I got angry with poverty, got angry with that situation called poverty, it didn't change. I tell everybody that anger is the gift of God to man. If you want to change from one level to the next level, you have to get angry. There's no other way. Because what you don't get angry about, you permit. You permit.